All right, there we go. I think I got it. I think it looks good. Yep. Good-ish. As good as it's going to be.
Looks good to me.
So we're live again here. We'll give you guys a few minutes to come in here. We're coming live again from Thailand.
Yeah, we've been here for several weeks now.
Yes. Rob has been here for 2 more weeks than I have. I was in, if you haven't seen it yet, I was in Bali for a couple weeks, leading a couple of girls' trips there, ultimate girls' trips. So I was doing that. And then I met up with Rob back here, yay. And so we've been here for the last few weeks, and we just last week we put in to extend our visa here in Thailand, and they granted us a 30-day extension so we can stay until the end of October. So that's exciting. So we are still here. And tonight we went down to the night market to get some dinner, and that was really fun. It's always such a fun happening place down there. And it's actually just right downstairs from the building that we're staying in. If you haven't seen the videos of our Thailand adventures, you can head over to Travel Thailand with Ali. And I've got tons of videos on there, including the video tour of this apartment that we're in.
Yeah.
So I think people have found us.
Yes, welcome everybody.
We're live with live humans.
Yeah, we're excited. We finally got our national park Amtrak vacation video up this week, and it was one that we loved doing. So hopefully you've gotten to see that. If you haven't, you'll see some of our adventures in the national parks, which was something we love.
Yeah, I don't know if people know how much we love the national parks. They've actually been to like national parks, that the words national park are a part of it. We have been to about half of them. So of the 60 something, we've been to about 30 something of them. So that's pretty good. We've covered quite a bit of ground. We did most of that during, I think, the end of 2020 and into 2021. And then on the trains, it's been amazing. We were able to put that trip together, and I think it's really exciting. We actually have several more of those trips that we took that we still haven't put together. I'm working on it. So I'm gonna have those edited and up for you guys as well. So stay tuned on the channel because we got a lot of really cool stuff coming up for you guys.
Yeah. And if you saw that video, and at the very end of it, we're at Death Valley, and someone mentioned in the comments, you're not supposed to go to Death Valley when it's 125 degrees. And yeah, that video was a lot more treacherous than it looked. When we were driving out, the tire on our car almost like exploded from the heat.
The seam of it, which we didn't realize until we parked it in the visitors or the parking area at Badwater Basin. We got out and we were like, ooh, is that going to make it back?
And if it had exploded, we would have been in serious trouble because it was extremely hot and we were probably underprepared. So
yeah, we thought we were prepared, and that's probably the scariest thing that's probably ever happened to us in travel, because we both felt pretty ill by the time we got back to the car. You probably can't tell that from how that video finished up, but we sat there and drank quite a bit of the water that we had brought with us, and we're running the air in the car to kind of, and try to wipe some of the salt off of our arms and stuff. It was pretty crazy.
It took us 3 or 4 days to recover from that. So.
It did.
So we're going to go over welcome everybody that's coming in. We see you filing in. If you have a question, just go ahead and start leaving them in the chat, and we will get to those very quickly. We want to answer all your questions. But we want to give you today some of our best things to bring with you on the Amtrak train. We have a whole host of them that we always take with us. And so we're going to talk about that for a little bit. And there's been a major change to one of them. That's why we wanted to do this video for you now, because one of our most recommended products is the Bose Sleep Buds 2. Which Ali uses to sleep, and hers started to wear down and not perform very well. Then we found out that they discontinued those, so you can't buy them anymore. And the reason was because the battery would start to die on them, and they just never could figure out how to get long enough battery life for a long time. So those have been discontinued. They are off of our recommendation list, but she has replaced it with something else.
I have, and it actually is even smaller, which is perfect, even better for traveling, even lighter, and it's these little loop earbuds, and they are noise canceling, so there is actual noise cancellation in there, but you open it up and see the little black buds here. Let me pull them out. So they have these little loops to them. Let me see, I think you can see it if I do it this way. There you go. They've got these little loops, and that's how you hold on to them. And then at the end, it's just the regular bud, and then you just put those right in your ears, and it actually does the noise canceling for you. So there's no sound with it. The Bose sleep buds had you could do like a white noise or brown noise or whichever kind of sounds you wanted through the app. This doesn't have a sound that goes with it, but they are really good for noise canceling. Like I said, this is different than just having regular earplugs. This is completely different. Earplugs is just basically you just stick it in your ear and there's nothing mechanical or anything like that with it. But these are, and they're really way cheaper than the sleep buds. So that is a perfect thing to have, and it's so small and it's so light, it's barely going to take up any space whatsoever, right?
Yeah, those are like $24.99 on Amazon.
Yeah.
And so the sleep buds were a couple hundred, almost $300.
Yeah, we're almost 300.
And so if you're doing an Amtrak trip and you think you may have trouble with the noise, just pick one of these at $25. Yeah. Even if you never use them again, it's worth it. For that trip. So,
but you'll definitely use these again. The nice thing about them, like I said, is they're so comfortable. They fit in your ears, so it's not going to bother you when you lay down. That's one of the reasons why I liked the sleep buds as opposed to sleeping with like AirPods or something like that is you could feel those and it hurts your ears after a while. Because I sleep on my side, and probably most people do. These will not do that in your ears. So I really like those a lot.
Got a couple questions here. We'll get to a couple of those, and then we'll go back to some more things you need to have. First question here is planning a massive trip. That sounds like fun.
Okay, I like this already.
New York to San Fran, and then back on the Empire Builder, I assume to Chicago. What's the best way to book this? So the best way to book it is going to be use the app. That's usually how we book it. We usually use the app and plan it all out ahead of time though, and give yourself plenty of time for connections, like an overnight in a hotel at least. If you don't feel comfortable booking on the app, you can always call in to 1-800-USA Rail. Now, when you do that, sometimes they'll have you make a tighter connection than you may want, so don't let them talk you into that. Give yourself a night or two in every city or however long you want, but don't book tight connections with that, and you will have an amazing trip. We've done a trip pretty much like that. It was great. I assume you'll be doing the Coast Starlight up to Seattle also on that trip, so that should be really fun. Next product we want to talk about here is this one. And we picked this up, this little mini fan. I'm not going to turn it on, but there's a little button on the back, USB charger. And we take this with us everywhere now because if you saw our Amtrak disasters video, one of the disasters was that the air conditioning went out on the train the whole way. And I wished we had had this fan on that journey because it would have made a big difference.
Yes, and it's also paying off dividends on this trip because, in case you didn't know, Thailand is pretty toasty. So sometimes when we're waiting in line, actually we used it last week when we were at the immigration office getting our visa extension. We had to break this out a couple times because it was really warm that day, and we had to be outside for part of it.
Yeah, it does get a little bit toasty, but it's good. We're able to get some good exercise in the heat. So what's the next one we've got?
Okay, the next one is, I think we talked about this also as one of the tips last week on our live for the coach class. You've got those two outlets at each set of seats, in coach. And if you're in a sleeper car, you only have usually one. And if you're in a bedroom, sometimes two, depending on where you are. But for the most part, in roomettes, you're going to have just one electrical outlet, which means you're only going to be able to charge one thing. If you want extra, this is something that we use, and I'm actually using it right now to charge my phone as I'm talking to you guys so that my battery doesn't die on my phone. But this is a portable charger, and as you can see here, it's displaying how much battery life it has left to charge, so that you can charge 2 phones completely, like from 0 to full completely with this, which is really awesome. And then you just recharge it, and it has 2 USBs and 1 USB-C, and it actually, if you hit the button, it also has a little flashlight on here also, which actually came in handy a couple of times. One of those times was when we were on the train in France. We were riding from Paris to Toulouse, and they actually didn't have any electrical outlets at all, 0 in the sleeper car. So we had no idea that that was the case until we got in there, and we were like, are you joking? And we were like, thank goodness we had this thing, because our phones would have died, and we needed those because our tickets for the train on the way back were on our phones. So it was a good thing that we had this and we could charge our phones up overnight, and we were good to go. But that portable charger is awesome, and it has actually saved our hides quite a few times.
Yeah, and there is a link in the description of this video to a page that has all these products on it if you want to check them out. These are both pretty cheap also. I think the fan, depends on when you get it, it runs between $10 and $15. And the charger, I think, is about $31.
Yeah,
$35.
all pretty inexpensive things. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning to everybody. Good morning for you. Good evening.
Good evening for us. It is just after 10 o'clock here. It is 10:15.
Yeah, I saw someone from Hawaii in the chat, so you're not that far from us.
That's right. We're probably only about 6 or 7 hours apart from them.
It is a real good morning for you. Very early morning. So while we go over some of this stuff, if you have questions, go ahead and leave them here. We will be happy to answer any of them. If you have travel planning or just Amtrak questions in general, that is not a problem. That's what we're here for today, is to help people with their travel. The next one we have, and I did update the link to this because the link on the old page that we were referring to had the old one that we were using, but this is the new one that we're using. And this is the new travel adapter. It's this one. We show it all the time, but it gets purchased all the time. We can see how many people go get it, and it gets purchased all the time. But it's got 2 USB-Cs, 2 USBs, regulars, and actually another USB-C on the side. So that's 5 USB and 1, you can still use the outlet, and you can use it in any country. So that is incredible to have on the train, because we both carry a phone, we both carry a tablet. You should probably bring a tablet on the train because you're going to have to download shows or entertainment if you want to do that. Or
if you're going to be on there for a while, you're going to want something to read or to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one item we probably couldn't live without, because in most of if you're in coach, you're only going to get one outlet. The one place, if you don't know this and you really need a bunch of outlets, is if you can get to the observation car and there's not many people around, there's a bunch of outlets right in the front of the chairs there. So you could go there and charge up several things at once. If you don't...
and under the tables in the observation car also.
Yeah.
If you have an observation car, look underneath. And usually there's 2... I've seen ones where they have 4, but usually at least 2 of them under the tables.
Yeah, there's a few secret places on there. Because you could probably go down to the cafe car and just act like you're sitting in line and go down there and charge it. But they used to let you eat in the cafe car, and then they started not to, and then sometimes they did, and then sometimes they didn't. But that's kind of just depending on...
I think it depends on on how many people are on the train. Also, if it's super busy, they're trying to cycle the people out of the cafe car, so there's not just 100 people standing in the cafe car or trying to eat in there.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions here.
Okay.
Scott, now this is interesting. Scott is sitting in Chicago's Metropolitan Lounge as we speak, watching this. That's great.
We love that station.
Amazed
that
by the
lounge.
station. Yeah, that's an amazing station. We'll be getting on the Zephyr in a few hours. Can't wait. That's probably our second favorite Metropolitan Lounge. The only one that's better is which?
Moynihan.
Yeah, New York City.
In New York.
That one is brand new, but Chicago is pretty easily the second best Metropolitan Lounge. And if you've been to the stations, most of the stations in the country, I think Chicago's either second or third, again to Moynihan. But the surprising station that's also really nice is Kansas City.
Oh yes, ooh, that's really nice
Kansas
station.
City's
Beautiful
real nice.
station. Lounge not so much,
Not
but the
so
station
much
yes.
on the lounge.
Lounge,
Yeah,
But it is a gorgeous station, and actually we've been there at 4th of July also, and they light up the whole outside of it in red, white, and blue. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. Let's see. Missy is taking a trip from the Bay Area to Seattle, probably on the Coast Starlight. So the video is much appreciated. Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate that. And Lynn is asking, have you been in the dining car booths? Have you measured them? She is tall and wants to know if she can fit in the booths.
Oh, if you're tall,
I don't think it'd be a problem.
I don't think it would be a problem. I've seen some pretty tall gentlemen. Actually, even just staff people. We've seen some really tall men and women be able to sit in the booths with no problem. So I don't think you'll have a problem with it. I mean, it's a regular size booth like you would see in, say, like a diner or someplace like that.
Yeah, I would say though that like if you're sitting at the booth, like us, we're like 5'9", 5'10", and 5'5", and we would struggle more to reach the table than not. It's bigger than.
Yeah, like I'm 5'4" actually, and I have to scoot up in the seat because if I sit all the way back in the seat, then my feet dangle just a little bit. I'm not real tall.
Yeah, they're pretty big, and if you're talking about headspace, the car is real tall.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem.
No problem at all. So let's see. Looking forward to going through the Rockies in the winter. Yeah, the last time. Tell me about what happened the last time we did.
Yes, so we were going through actually in the spring. It was May, and we were sitting in Denver waiting when it started to look, the weather started to look a little bit crummy. We were like, oh man, we're gonna get terrible visibility going through the Rockies, and we were just kind of bummed. And we started going, and as we started ascending, that rain started to turn to snow, and it was so beautiful. I mean, like breathtaking. And I mean, I've probably said this before, but I always take 1,000,000 pictures on the train plus the videos just because I think it's so pretty. And I must have taken 1,000,000 pictures that day because it was so beautiful. The snow falling and then the trees all covered with snow. And it was amazing because that was in May. We weren't even expecting it. And by the time we got to the other side, the snow had cleared and it was absolutely gorgeous. Then blue skies, and you know, you could see the reflection of the sky and the water. It was beautiful. You're gonna love it.
I got a question here from Rebecca. She is considering getting a family bedroom and roomette for her family of 4, which is 2 adults and 2 preteens, planning overnight trip for the first time. Does this sound like a good idea?
So
4 people.
So it's 4 people that are really like adult size then, right?
Probably, yeah.
Or like, you know, not,
Yeah,
we're not talking about little kids, obviously.
I wouldn't put preteens in a family bedroom with you. Yeah. So that is a good idea.
Because those beds are not going to be big enough. I mean, like I said, I'm 5'4", and my knees were really bent. I mean, in order to lay, because I just wanted to see what it would be like if I laid down in those, you know, child beds on the ends, and I had to really bend my knees. You would be, if you wanted to do that room, you could do one of those rooms, the family bedroom, and then get one of the roomettes that's right next to it. Because there's 4 roomettes down there right near the family bedroom. Get one that shares a wall with that family bedroom, and you'll be all there together. Plus, you'll be close to the bathrooms and the showers.
Yeah, that's probably the best setup you could do, because then if you get you could also just get 2 roomettes, but you're going to be a lot more cramped in the 2 roomettes than you will with a roomette and a family bedroom. And sometimes the family bedroom is about the same price as the roomette. Just
sometimes cheaper.
Sometimes cheaper. Not that often, but sometimes it is. So yeah, if we were taking our kids and they were preteens, that's probably what we would have done. Family bedroom and a roomette. Just get them. If you call in when you book, they can put your roomette right next to the family bedroom. If you book them online, they're just going to assign you a random roomette, and then you'll have to call in and get it changed. So you might as well just book it online.
Or on the phone,
Yeah, on the phone, when you're going to do that. Elizabeth is taking a trip from Texas to Chicago in a week. So, Texas Eagle.
Yes.
That was one of the recent ones we did, too.
Yes, we did do. That was actually the last one we did before we left the U.S.
Let's talk for a second about because this is helpful for not only for sleeper car, but for coach, because we get a lot of questions on packing for coach, packing for sleeper car. This is a really important thing. So and especially important if you're coming from overseas and you're watching this, it's just different on the trains here. Everything runs differently. What you want to do is we have like luggage racks that you'll put your big bags on, which they don't normally have in Europe and so forth. Or you can actually check your big bags, which you also usually can't do anywhere else. But
on the sleeper trains,
you can check your bag, but you can check your bag even if you're in coach, so that's not a problem. But you're gonna want to have with you like a backpack that you're gonna keep all your valuables in, your computer, your phone at night, and all that. And then you want to have another kind of portable duffel bag that you're going to keep your non-valuables in, which would be maybe a change of clothes, all your snacks, anything, toiletries, slippers, all that stuff. And so we have a bag that is very space efficient. And this is what we recommend.
That looks like nothing fits in there, right? Because this is not the bag. This is actually a convertible bag. And we always travel with this one. This is actually where we store all of our things when we are in a sleeper car. So this is actually what the bag looks like here. And it's got a pocket up here. And then it also has a pocket inside as well, which is what it turns itself into, is that pocket. But this is a nice bag. It's fantastic. We've had this one for years and years. And it is just so awesome because in a pinch, you can just throw some stuff in here and you're good to go. Sometimes we do a side trip off of a trip and we don't want to take all of our bags with us. We just throw in the couple things we need here. But this is absolute gold because this fits under the seat in the sleeper car also. So you don't have to, find space for it. You can just pull what you need from it and slide it underneath. And then if you're in coach, this fits easily overhead, but if you want to keep it with you, it slides easily underneath your footrest also.
Yeah, so that is the best thing about that as opposed to like a hardback duffel bag is that it'll compress. Because if you're in a superliner, sleeper, a roomette, everything that you bring into that roomette has to go under the seats. There is no other place to put it unless you're sleeping with it. So basically, I see we got another question here about, is there enough room for 2 carry-on suitcases in a roomette? There is definitely not in a superliner, and there's not even room for one.
Not like hard carry-ons. It's going to be really tight.
Basically the biggest bag you can fit in a superliner roomette is the size of my backpack, it's a pretty big backpack, but it's like that big, that
thick,
fat when it's laying down on its side.
Yeah.
And that
it's a pretty good sized backpack. But it has a flat top to it, so it slides
and
easily.
it will compress a little bit. So you will definitely not be able to fit like a rolling hard shell bag that you could put on a plane.
No, it's tight.
Now on a Viewliner, which is the trains that go to New York City, there is a luggage hold up top, and you could fit a carry-on bag up there. So because the Viewliners don't have luggage racks, so that's the other problem.
And if you're in coach, then that's not a problem. But in the sleepers, it's definitely a challenge if you're in a superliner.
Yeah, you definitely want to think you're packing out. And if we're on a superliner, we usually don't check our bags. We usually take our big suitcases and put them just in the luggage racks on the lower level. That has always worked out fine. We've never had a problem with that, right?
No problem at all.
And if you're on a viewliner, we always check the bag because there's nowhere to put it on the train.
There's not even a luggage rack on the viewliner, so you have to basically check it.
So you've got Nicole here saying she goes from Champaign to Chicago. The roomette when I'm taking the city of New Orleans. Short trip, love the quiet and extra space. Yeah, we do like getting the roomette too. Also, a lot of people don't know you can get a roomette even if you're just doing a day trip. So like if you're going from Atlanta to New Orleans, or you're going from Los Angeles to San Francisco, you can get a roomette, right? There's a lot of advantages to that.
Yep, we do it all the time because we end up using points, so it's free for us. It doesn't end up being real expensive either if you're paying for it. We've paid for it a few times also, and it's not that expensive to do, and you're comfortable. Your meal's included if you're on the train during a meal. It's actually really quite nice. You can close that door, enjoy the views, and kind of close out the world.
Yeah, usually like if you're not staying the night, the roomette prices are so much cheaper. So like on the Coastal Light, you might be able to get one for $270, $280 for two people for just the day. Kind of gives you that private space, and it's oftentimes not that train has business class, and it's often not that much more than business class. We thought about getting business class once, right?
We did, and then the price for the roomette was so close that we were like, oh, let's just get the roomette. So we just switched to the roomette instead.
So another question that people have is, what kind of camera do we bring on the train? So we're going to share that with you right now. I was going to show you what she films with.
Ta-da! It's a GoPro. I know people are usually surprised, but when we're on the move, this is our go-to camera, and it actually has the media mod on it with the light. And usually there's a windscreen here, but I have managed to lose 2 windscreens in 2 different countries. My last windscreen I lost in Japan, in Tokyo. I was so sad. I got distracted filming something and didn't realize it came off, and it was gone forever. And I haven't been able to find a replacement. So just keep that in mind. If you get the media mod, you're probably going to lose that mic cover. But this is fantastic. Love this one. It's so easy. And I have 2 different handles for it. This is the smallest one I have. But what I like about it is, see how little that is? It contracts down to this little size right here, or this size, and then it turns into a little tripod, so I can just set it down hands-free. Or if I want to, hold it and film out the window and move around, I could do that. All different types of things. And if we want to film, ourselves, we can set it down on a shelf somewhere and film ourselves. So that's an easy one to bring with you. And they actually just came out. This is the 11 actually that we have, and they just came out with the 12. But top secret little information here is they're basically the same. So if you can get the 11, it's going to be a little bit cheaper than the 12.
Yeah, it is.
Save yourself a couple bucks. Don't worry about it. Get the 11.
We're not upgrading that one yet, but
no.
Maybe on the 13.
We'll see.
I wanted to talk about another item that is like essential. We're not going to show it to you because you'll know what it is. But it's your toiletries bag that you're going to bring with you that's going to go in that bag. It really should be a hanging toiletries bag. One of those ones with a hook on it. And there's a few reasons for that. And once you're in the train and you're moving down the rails, you'll thank us for this.
You'll say smart.
There is a hook in the bathroom to hang your toiletries bag. And you're going to want to do that because if you put it on the counter, which is a very small counter, it's going to fall off. And you're going to have your stuff everywhere. And you do not want...
Happened to me.
You do not want your stuff everywhere in there. Just trust me. That is not a bathroom that you want your stuff everywhere in. Because what happens is I don't think that people always say the Amtrak bathrooms are like really, really dirty. And sometimes they do appear dirty, but what happens is, especially in the sleeper cars, the faucets are so poorly designed in those bathrooms that, like, if you put the faucet on, like the minimum amount of pressure on the faucet, it's like a fire hose coming out of the faucet. It's gonna hit your hand or
You
whatever.
won't have to go to the shower
Yeah.
because you can do it right
will
there at the
spray
sink.
like the entire bathroom. And so I've done this like 100 times in this bathroom, turn this faucet on. I cannot get out of there without leaving the entire floor is wet when I leave it.
We always have a good chuckle when we get back from the bathroom because it's covered in water.
I think that people, like, it's their first time they walk in, they're like, oh, this is so dirty. People went to the bathroom all over the floor. No, it's not that. There is
9
water.
times out of 10, it's water from the
There's
sink.
water everywhere. It's like waterworks. So first of all, you if you're gonna use the faucet and not do that, you can't be holding on to your bag, and the train is swaying. So just get a hanging toiletries bag. Trust me, you're gonna save yourself.
And they actually have a hook on the door and in the bathroom as well, where you can hang the bag. So,
Yeah.
and then you'll also want to do that if you take a shower on the train. I don't know how many people do that, but we love to shower on the train. But if you shower on the train, there's also a hook in there that you can hook it on. And so because there's not a lot of counter space, if you get in there, you'll realize there's not a ton of places to put your toiletries bag. So you can also hook it in the shower.
Yeah. Have a question here from D Nice, planning a trip on the Southwest Chief next year. Elderly with limited mobility. When I book, where do I request assistance? So there's a couple things you can do. If you want to book online and try to get one of the accessible rooms, you can do that. Otherwise, I would probably call in if I were you to do that. And it's probably going to be easier for them to check which trains have accessible rooms left on them. They are among the hardest to find. But if you don't want that, or you want to ride in coach, that's fine. They have accessible seating there too. But when you get to the station, just let them know right when you get in, any Amtrak employee, that you're going to need assistance. You're going to need red cap, which is going to help you get to the train. And from all we've seen, they're the most helpful of any travel company, right?
Super nice. I mean, they are definitely the nicest group of people I've seen transporting those who need assistance. Super sweet. They get you all the way there. They make sure you get into your room. I've seen them on the trains putting bags in. So definitely look to them. Also, if you don't feel like you need the accessible room, you can always request a room downstairs so that you don't have to worry about going upstairs either.
Yeah, and they will have a ramp on every train that they can, if they know that you need it, they can put it right where you get off the train. At every stop, they'll put it out for you and help you get off. I've actually seen them carry people on and off of the train. It's pretty amazing the lengths that they go to help their customers, more so than anyone that I've ever seen.
More than the airlines, any other service we've ever seen.
So let's talk about the next thing that we're also not going to show, but you need to talk about, and that is, you're going to know why after that story we just told you, is you're going to need flip-flops, right? Because you're not really sure if it's water. So you got to have flip-flops.
You don't want to figure this out later. So it's the same as in an airplane. You don't want to go to the bathroom barefoot or in your socks. The last thing you want is mystery liquids on your feet or on your socks. So you're going to want some flip-flops. We learned this very quickly. Our very first time in a sleeper car years and years ago, we didn't have flip-flops with us. And so then in the middle of the night, Rob's trying to tie his shoes on so he can go to the bathroom. His sneakers ended up falling on top of me, waking me up, scaring the living daylights out of me. So pretty much after that, we were like, that's it. We cannot ride the train in a roomette in a sleeper car without having some flip-flops. And you'll also want it for coach as well, because in the night, you're going to take your shoes off. You don't want to take time to put your shoes on while you're trying to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So make sure you bring something that's easy to slip on, some slides, some flip-flops, whatever. We've got that on our list also.
Yeah, also for like the fresh air breaks, because if you have a longer fresh air break and the train is late, they will shorten it like from 15 down to like 7 minutes. And I don't want to waste 2 of those minutes putting shoes on, because I like to get off at every single fresh air break, because you don't get many of them. And so you don't want to waste a precious 2 or 3 minutes kind of fiddle with your shoes.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that we do. Harvey had a good idea here. Put a suction cup hook in your toiletry bag in case there is no hook. Almost
that's a good
always,
idea.
I've
Yeah.
never not seen there be a hook, but that's a pretty
But
good
who
idea.
knows? Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
broken. You never know. That is a good idea. You might as well throw it in there.
Yeah. Hello everybody that's coming in, that's coming late here.
Oh, welcome.
Welcome, yeah. We're just going over some of the products that you might want on the trip. If you have questions about your specific trip or situation or something in general, leave them down here for us now, and we will get to them before we close out this video. We're just talking about some general things here that you need. The next thing I think that I always have to have on the train, I just said it was snacks.
It's snacks.
So on the link in the description, you can see what my favorite snack is. It's the only one on there. It's a pretty good snack.
And we learned this from one of our first few trips. It's protein bars. It is a good snack, though.
The best ones.
These are really good. They actually taste really good. But I know I questioned whether they were healthy or not. I was like, I don't know. How can this be healthy? It tastes too good.
It does,
But
yeah.
one of our first few train trips that we did, we were in coach. We're going from Atlanta to New Orleans, I think. And we thought, oh, you know what? We're just going to grab some food on the train for lunch. We'll eat it in our seat, enjoy the views while we're riding down. We got on the train, and the very first announcement they made when we got on the train was, the snack car is closed until further notice because our card machine is not working. And at the time, they weren't accepting cash, so you could only use a card. It was the only option, and the machine wasn't working, so they couldn't do any transactions. So yeah, it was several hours, and actually they still hadn't fixed it. What they did was they brought us all little snack boxes and provided those for us, so at least we did have some protein there and some extra water and things like that. So that was really nice. And then later on, really probably like 3 hours from New Orleans, they finally were able to get it fixed and bring on some more food, and we were able to get something then, light for dinner or whatever. But definitely always be prepared with some protein.
Yeah. I see Scott is still in the lounge in Chicago. So I did want to mention the lady that runs the lounge in Chicago.
She's the best.
She's the best. So if it's the same lady,
I hope it's her. I hope you have her, because her announcements are the actual best.
She doesn't put up with
and
anything,
she
just runs that thing so efficiently.
She runs a very tight ship, and do not mess around with her. She is the best. I love her announcements. They're fun. They're firm, but they're very funny. So you're not like upset with her because she's so firm. You're just laughing because she's being so firm in a really funny way.
Because she has to, because Chicago, there's so many trains leaving, and everyone's trying to get up and get on the wrong train.
They're all going to the wrong place. They're like, where are you going? You're going to the wrong train. Go someplace else. She's great, though. We love her.
She deserves an award along with the Moynihan staff. They are amazing, too, and in the lounge. So I hope that you're getting that same treatment.
Hope you have her.
A couple questions about showering. Is it tough to shower on the train while it is moving? Was a question.
Well, I've done it. Actually, that's pretty much the only time I shower in the train is when it is moving. I don't shower usually when we're at the station, because for some reason I feel like, like I could be walked in on, even though it's locked. I don't know why I have that fear, but I would never shower while the train is sitting still. I only do it while it's moving. It's a very bizarre thing, and I can't explain it. But, we all have our weird things, so that one's mine. But I actually like the movement, and once you've been on the train really for a day or so, you kind of are into the groove of how the train is moving. And they do have bars you can hang on to there, so if you're nervous about that, you can do that. And in a couple of trains I've seen, too, they actually even have a seat in the shower that you could sit in. But I've actually never had a problem at all taking a shower while the train is moving.
Yeah,
I'll interject though and say though, I would discourage ladies from shaving your legs while the train is moving and you're showering.
yeah. I only use the shower while it's at the station.
No.
I don't want to fall down in the shower.
See, Rob doesn't have the same fear I have.
I don't have that same fear. I have a fear.
And it's an unreasonable fear. I understand that. I know that. Don't even bother commenting. I know it's unreasonable.
Yeah, I don't know why. I always think usually like at night there's a station stop where it's like I don't really want to get off because it's 11:30 at night and it's dark out and it's only going to be 15 minutes. That's when I'll go shower because it's real easy to do. But it's not bad when you're moving along either. I mean, the thing is the shower is not huge, so you're going to hit a wall pretty quickly if the train rocks.
You just slap it around from wall to wall in the shower.
You're not going very far. Scott says it's a guy named Carl Calvin.
Oh, we've had Calvin before, haven't we?
Well, in the lounge, in the Metropolitan Lounge.
Okay.
Saying, yeah, it's not the same lady. Too bad.
Oh, bummer.
Let's see. Portia wants to know what month would be more cost efficient to travel in a bedroom.
In a bedroom.
Well, it's kind of hard to say right now because they've all gotten a little bit more pricey as opposed to what they used to be. But I would say, in general, the further out you book and not booking over the summer is going to be the cheapest because as the train fills, the price definitely goes up. So if you can book it when the train is not full and not over the summer, that's going to be your best chance of getting. So like
as far in advance as you can book.
What are we in? We're in like October right now. So if you could book like February right now, that's probably your best. The summer may not be expensive yet just because it's so far away, but when it gets closer, it will get very expensive because that'll book up. So yeah, I would say like right now, if you're looking at January or February, it's probably going to be pretty cheap and a good time to be on Amtrak.
Yeah.
I like that time.
It's perfect. Yeah, that's a great time because it's not as busy and it's just a little bit more leisurely, less hectic.
Eric is asking, is a double room good for a single person? I like space. So by a double room, I think there aren't single rooms on Amtrak. So there's only a roomette, which is for two people, but it's basically like bunk beds. And then there's a bedroom, which is also for two people, but it's bigger. It's twice as big as a roomette. So whatever room you get, it's going to sleep two people. But the roomette is going to be, you're not going to get any extra space because the other bed is right above you. It'll be folded up if you're in there by yourself. So you'll have more headroom, but you won't have any more room.
Any more square footage down
but
below.
If you get a bedroom, you can kind of explain that. You'll get a lot more square footage.
You do. You get a lot more space during the daytime because you have that nice big couch and the one chair to sit in during the daytime. And then you also, of course, have your own toilet and shower and sink in there, which is great. But at night, once that bed is down, it's a tight squeeze. So you're in the room because that bed goes all the way to where the sink is, like literally butts up against it. And it's really hard to move through there. So if you don't mind that, then yes, you'll have more space in that room. Otherwise, I would just save your money and do the roomette if you're good with that.
Yeah, a roomette is probably plenty of space. Well, if you really like, roomette is pretty tight if you've never been on before, but it's definitely easier for one than two.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Just woke up and wants to watch the video, the national park video, I think.
Okay.
Harvey just retired and has been watching the videos, using them as a guide for what to expect. Oh, great.
Oh, yay. Congratulations on your retirement.
Congratulations. And Amtrak is a good way to spend some of that extra free time because you have something relaxing about just going slow.
It is just being leisurely. I think that's one of the great things about riding the trains. People always ask us, like, why do you guys like to ride the trains? Like, I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere, so I'm fine with just sitting on the train for a few days, seeing parts of the U.S. and even in the world when we ride the trains internationally, just seeing things that you wouldn't normally see if you were in a car. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things. You get to see some really beautiful things and experience some amazing things on the trains.
Yeah, we end up talking to a lot of people on the train too. There's like a lot more time just to talk to your fellow passengers, which we don't get to do like if we're on a plane or just in a hotel. But on a train, there's so much time that you get to know everybody around you, right?
Exactly.
We've had a lot of experiences like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. We made friends with all kinds of amazing people along the way.
Let's see. RJ is asking, how comfortable is a roomette while two people are seated, 6 foot tall each? Okay, so if you, depends on how well you like each other, I guess, but
we're gonna say you probably like each other. If you're
we're
in
gonna
a
say
roommate
you probably
together.
like each other, but yeah, if we're seated, we're 5'9" and 5'4".
4.
It, like, if we both have our feet in the middle part,
Like our knees.
we could be kicking each other.
Yeah.
So
it comes pretty close to, like, if this was our knees, it comes pretty close to, like, we're like that far.
But the seats
from
are,
our knees running into each
the
other.
seats are fairly wide, so if you take your shoes off, you can put your feet up on the seat across from you. If you both do that, that's probably the most comfortable thing to do, would you say?
Or there's an armrest usually you could put your feet up on. Or if you're in a viewliner, you could put your feet up on either where the toilet is or in the little bench area. There's different ways that you could do that also. Or you just could put both seats out and you could both sit like on the bottom bed, make the bottom bed up. You could both sit and put your legs out if you wanted to do that too.
Yeah, we've done that too.
We've done that before.
There's
Where we just wanted to have our feet up.
There's definitely more legroom in coach though than in the roomette, I think, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people. You just lack all the privacy and the ability to lay down when you're sleeping. So there's different things you deal with, but there's not, I wouldn't say there's tons of legroom, but it's definitely workable if you're willing to put your feet up. I would say. Let's see. Todd is taking the Southwest Chief in 1 week all the way. Are you going Chicago to LA or LA to Chicago, I wonder?
We've done it both ways. And it was really cool because on the Southwest Chief, one of the other things that we really enjoyed is Route 66. I like all the old nostalgic stuff and the diners and just all the cool old stuff. Plus, our kids, when they were little, the movie Cars, the Disney movie Cars came out, and they absolutely were obsessed with it. Actually, our daughter is still obsessed with it. She's almost 24. Don't tell her we told you that. And so we just have always loved that. We took them on a road trip on Route 66 after that movie, and they had the time of their lives doing that. And we have loved it ever since, I think, because it's just a great memory for us always. And like I said, it just has a lot of nostalgia. So you get to see a lot of that from the train on the Southwest Chief.
Yeah, another couple things I wanted to mention that are in the link to bring with you on the train. Definitely bring some cash with you, because that is going to be the only way that you can really tip any of the staff that you want to tip. And oftentimes we forget still. We're sitting in Union Station in Chicago and
we're like,
we did not get cash. We have no cash.
Yeah.
So we're like running around Union Station, trying to find an ATM, trying to get cash out, and
then trying to make change.
Yeah, or trying to get it like out at a stop, at a fresh air break, trying to find an ATM.
Yeah, when we've had hectic trips back to back to back of different things, kind of like that national park video that we just put out on Friday. That was kind of a hectic one because we had so many things back to back. So it's easy to forget to do that. Don't forget to bring cash. You want to bring, 5s and 1s for sure. So that you have, smaller, you can break it up into whatever you want to from there.
Yeah. Is it better to tip your room attendant before or after the trip? Interesting.
Yeah.
Most people do it after. I've never seen anyone do it before, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, most people are concerned that they're not going to see their room attendant before they get off, but they're actually Your room attendant is the last person you see when you get off of the train, because they're the person who is going to help you get off the train, open the door for you to get off the train, and they will greet you at the door. Regardless of if you're getting off in the middle of the night or whatever, they are going to let you off the train.
Yeah, or let you on when in the middle of the night too. So we always do it after. Almost everybody does it after. It's kind of, when you're getting on the train, especially if you're getting on at a big station, it's kind of hectic, and they're pretty busy. So it's like they're trying to get everyone situated, and it just would be harder to do then, I think, and making sure you have the right attendant and all that. So
Yes.
yeah, we just do it
After
afterwards.
is the best for room attendant.
David says to bring some Pepto or Dramamine. Yeah, Allie travels with the. It's not Dramamine, but
I travel with meclizine, and I also bring ginger chews with me. And that's actually on our list of things that 20 things that we travel with, a different list. But ginger chews is amazing for settling your stomach. If you don't want to take, medication, the ginger chews just really helps to kind of, equalize that acid or whatever it is in your stomach that's unsettling. It does help quite a lot. But then if I have to take something, which I haven't had to do on a train for a really long time, I take meclizine. But Dramamine, I don't know if you can get, you can get meclizine in the US. You could probably order it. And then the Pepto is also a really good idea because, if you get any stomach issues or if the food doesn't agree with you or whatever, that's a good one.
hey Tim, good morning. Good morning to you in Tucson. Good night from us. We're in Thailand. So yeah, and Tucson was featured in our last video. We got off there. Right. So check that out.
We went to Saguaro National Park.
Yeah, we actually got off. We actually went to a lot of places from Tucson.
We did, and we also had really good Mexican food there.
Yeah.
Just to throw that out there.
A couple people asking for the appropriate tips. So for your room attendant, it's usually, the rule of thumb is $5 to $10 per person per night. So for two of us, it would be $10 to $20 per night. So you can do less than that. You can do nothing. It's not required. You can do. We've seen people do more than that. That's kind of like if you do $5 or $10 per person per night, you'll be right in the middle of what everybody does. Yeah,
I mean, we've had attendants do a great job. We tip them appropriately. We have several attendants who have gone above and beyond. I can think of one very specifically. Eric was absolutely amazing. We actually ran into him recently on a smoke break, on a fresh air break in Fort Worth. We ran into him. He was on a different train, on the same train, but going the other way. And we ran into him and got to say hi. But if you have a really amazing one, then obviously you can give them way more.
Yeah. And then for the dining room, it used to be we would tip them at the end, but now generally they have two people on there now, and they used to only have one. And so now you're never really sure, and they're harder to catch, way harder to catch after the train. You really won't see them again after your last meal because they're like gone. They're off the train.
They get off before you get off.
Yeah, they're off before
they get off before the train stops moving. I'm just kidding. They don't, but they're off quickly.
They're off a lot quicker than the room attendant. So it's basically generally we just figure out what would you be tipping at a meal like this, and $5, whatever you want to tip is fine. We just do that per meal.
Yeah.
Just leave it on the table.
So usually a minimum of about $2.50 up until $5 to $10. Just depends, again, on the service and the food and which meal it was, breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes if you befriend the dining car attendant, they'll be really nice to you. Like oftentimes we'll be on a train and we'll be walking through, and it's not because they know who we are, although they do end up finding out, but even at the beginning of the trip, we'll walk through and they'll be like, hey, this bottle of wine just fell off the cart. You want to take it to your room? I'll do that all the time.
I don't want to have to throw this away. Why don't you take it to your room? It's like, okay.
So it does help to tip your dining car attendant because they're
really good anyways. You don't have to bribe them.
No, but they can give you a lot of extra stuff.
They are, yeah. Yeah.
So let's see. Stacy is asking, this is a good question. I would love to take the train to Florida. I'm assuming Silver Meteor or Silver Star. But I'm so afraid that I will get a sleeper with the toilet in the room next to the seat. I don't think I can do that. How to not get assigned one? Unfortunately, there's really no way to do that other than to get a bedroom, because the way that it works is if you have, well, the way you do it is, yeah, you didn't say roommate here, you said sleeper. So if you get a bedroom, it won't be like that. But if you get a roomette, you have probably a little bit less than 50% chance of doing that, depending on what they're doing. But those are the older cars that have the toilet right, and this is right next to the bed. Yeah, it's worse.
Right next
it's worse
to the
if
bed.
there's two people. But probably they're phasing those out, but you still have a chance of getting one.
Yeah.
The Viewliner 2, which is the one that doesn't have them, those are the new ones that supposedly there's trying to be more of. But it's about a 50-50 shot, and you really can't. There's nothing you can do. You won't know until you get there.
Tough. It is a bummer because sometimes we're like, oh, well, you just don't know, because the thing is that they changed the numbers of the train cars. So even if someone says, oh, such and such train car is a Viewliner 1, well, when it goes the next time, it could be, they could switch the number to a different train car, and it could be a Viewliner 2. So you don't know because they switch the numbers all the time.
Yeah, I don't mind the Viewliner one, like with the toilet in the room. What do you think? Do you like it or you don't like it?
Well, the thing is that I'm the person who's sleeping on the bottom, right next to the toilet. And so I just am praying that he aims correctly while I'm sleeping if he gets up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but it's not like you sleep with your feet on there.
I will say this, that your feet are in that direction generally. You would have your head the other way. You're not sleeping with your head on the side where the toilet is. I would definitely not recommend doing that. Plus, the reason why you wouldn't have your head that way is because that's the narrowest part of the bed. The bed, actually both beds, but the space down by where the toilet is smaller, narrower than up by the head. So it goes, like if you're looking here, like this is the bottom by the toilet, and then it goes like that, and so it's wider up at the top. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out and you'll see it there what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you prefer?
Who likes a toilet next to them?
I
mean, some people do. It's if you just, especially if you're in there by yourself, then it doesn't matter. But if you're sharing it with somebody, then it just depends on who the person is and how okay you are with going to the bathroom. I mean, in the night, obviously one person's asleep, so it doesn't matter. But during the day, obviously, we would leave the room.
Yeah. Tim says he likes the toilet next to
Tim, you like it?
Yeah.
I think I go by mood. Like sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, that's good. Then sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't have this.
Yeah.
It just depends on my mood. I don't know.
Edward is asking, when is traditional dining returning to the East Coast? And we have been hearing for many, many months it is close. Like we've heard
like this close. Like we have insider friends information that it is this close to coming back. So hang in there because we're looking for it too. We're begging for it.
Don't have
Come on, Amtrak.
exact date. Although I do like, I think that the flexible used to get a bad rap because I did really like a couple of those meals. They took them away though, and so now I don't like the flexible at all.
Oh boy, our daughter has joined the chat. Everybody say hello to Alexa. As you can see from all the hearts. Hello to our daughter. She is actually traveling today. She lives in LA, but she was at a friend's wedding in Georgia. Congratulations, Julia and Will. And our daughter was one of the maids of honor in the wedding. It's her best friend from childhood, an absolute doll, her friend who just got married, but she is going to be on her way to the airport to fly back to LA.
Yeah, have a good flight, Alexa. Glad you joined the chat. Hope you're having a great morning.
I think she's messaging from the car on the way to the airport.
So, yeah.
She's a character, our daughter.
That's good. That's a good comment there. Nice entrance, Alexa Marian.
Gotta love her.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
Her birthday actually is coming up in less than a month. She's gonna be, how old is she gonna be? 24. Wow. She's getting up there. Oh wait, that means we're getting up there. Don't tell people.
We are not getting up there.
I have a big birthday coming up in December, but I won't talk about that right now. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. We do. You do have a big birthday.
A big one.
We'll be the same age for that big birthday.
In case you didn't know, our birthdays are back to back. My birthday is December 21st, and Rob's is December 22nd. And he was born a year before me, but on my birthday then every year, we are the same age. And for our entire life together, 31 years together, 28 married, he has on my birthday made sure to tell at least one person, oh, we're the same age.
It's only one day a year.
The only day of the year that he could do that.
Yep. And I'm 50 now, so that you can maybe figure out how old she's going to be this year. Any basic math there. Yeah, so good to see you, Alexa. I'm sure
Have a good flight, sweetie.
Have a good flight. I think we got a couple of other
Did we get any more questions? Sorry, we got off track. See, these are the types of things our daughter does. She gets us off track.
RJ is still trying to convince their husband that they want to do train travel. Yeah, just have them watch some videos, and I think if you can convince them to watch a few videos, maybe they'll get hooked and see some things they like. Yeah. That's generally what happens.
Yeah, I even took my dad. We had a really fun trip. My dad and I did the auto train. If you've never seen that one, you got to check that one out. Just me and my dad did a father-daughter trip, and we took the train. We drove his car, because of course we don't have a car. We drove his car to Virginia, and we got on in Lorton and took it all the way down to Sanford, and then we drove back from Sanford to Tennessee where he lives. So that was really fun. And then we also took Rob's parents. We took them on a train trip from Atlanta to DC, and that was really fun too.
Yeah, and we took Alexa on the Pacific Surfliner.
That's right. We took her to Disney from LA.
Yeah.
on the Pacific Surfliner.
We took the slowest possible way to get there.
She said, why are we taking the train? I have a car.
We had never ridden the Pacific Surfliner.
We wanted to ride it.
We wanted to ride it, so we took her on that. And we ended up, when we got there, we went to Disney and we stayed too late, and then there were no trains back, so we ended up just taking an Uber back to Los Angeles.
It was not the cheapest Uber from Disney back to LA.
Yeah, the train was cheaper.
It was.
But we stayed too late. What is a good Amtrak route for the winter? Let's see.
I would definitely say the Empire Builder.
Yeah.
It's beautiful up in the northern part of the country in the wintertime, and the California Zephyr that we mentioned earlier, for sure.
Yeah, I think the California Zephyr would be great. Like, Coast-Star Light, you're not really going to see much difference, and then the southern routes.
Yeah, they'll pretty much, I mean, it's the desert,
pretty much
so
will be
it's Texas.
The same, just not hot.
Yeah. But those two are really beautiful in the wintertime if you want to do a cross-country trip. All right, you want to do a rapid fire last few here
we'll do some rapid fire here. If you have any
right.
questions, throw them in there now.
Now's your chance.
And we'll start on them here.
What do you got?
Not too many in the queue here. So,
okay.
Will Amtrak expand their service in the future nationwide? I think they will. I think it's going to be a little bit, though.
It's going to be a slow progress.
They don't take months, they take years. But I think they're going to expand. I think Brightline is coming in and putting some new routes in, and that's going to push them also, too.
Yes,
do some other
and it's
things.
going to give them the nudge that they need to move.
MB is on the Crescent, 1016. And good, that goes to our hometown of Atlanta.
Riding through Atlanta.
There were a number of people that were on the Empire Builder that were taking the trip because of you two. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
We do love the Empire Builder. We always tell people that that's like That train is one of those underrated ones. The views from that one are stunning. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the last time we were on the Empire Builder, we met quite a few people that had seen our video on there, and so we kind of all got to know each other.
That was quickly. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun because we knew everybody. Adirondack, yeah, that's beautiful year round. All those ones that go up to the northeast, can be pretty with the snow. Yeah, it's another section that I would do. Took the Zephyr because of you too. Thank you for the tips. Hope you had a good time. And we are in New York. Any good day trips from New York? Yeah. On the Acela, you can definitely do a day trip. Like if you're meaning going and coming back the same day. We actually did that. We went to Wilmington.
Yes, we did. We went to Delaware. That was actually really fun. That was really cool. That was when I was doing the 50 states. That was actually my 50th state, which was kind of cool because the first state, the nickname, was my 50th state. So that was really cool. But that was a fun day trip we did while we were staying in New York.
But you can definitely do Boston, Philadelphia, all those from New York. If you're talking about like an overnight trip, you can definitely do some good ones that goes up to Canada and then stay a night and come back. Thank you, Robert, for the super chat.
Thank you, Robert.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we really do wish they could connect to Florida too, Robert, and also Atlanta. Let's get Atlanta to Florida.
Let's get that little southeast corner covered by Amtrak. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Kim lives in Detroit. Hey, I am from Detroit. Well, Flint. But what is a good cheap round trip? The best place you can go is Chicago. That's really the only place you can go because that's really the only place you can go. And
then somewhere else
from
there.
Chicago, you can go on to somewhere else. But if you're only doing a round trip from Detroit, go to Chicago, spend a day or two there, go back to Detroit. It'll be perfect. Just don't cheer for any of the Chicago teams. Cheer for Detroit. Okay? That's what we got to think about. Brian, I didn't think Emeryville was a safe station, though. Yeah, that's not the best.
But there's great hotels right there.
Great hotels.
Yeah. If you go to our website, we actually have all the recommendations of the hotels on there for all the major stations, groundedlifetravel.com. Just type in the search there on our website and we have all the recommendations for the best ones. We've actually been so many times we've tried out literally every hotel right there by the station.
Yeah. Is the Delaware station part of your intro? I think it is.
Oh, it is. Yes. Wow. That's like a super fan right there. Yeah. Good job. It is. That's actually the train, the Acela that's coming in is actually that. Wow. You are good.
Because did you know, like the Acela is really hard to get on film because like in Moynihan, it's underground and you can't stand there while they're coming in. They don't let you stand there. So really one of the few places we've ever seen where you can film the Acela. Same in DC, you can't really film it. You can film it in Delaware, so that's where we did it.
That is where we caught it. Good job, good eye.
All right, go Lions. Yes, go Lions.
Oh boy, here we go.
Here we go.
He's still hanging on that KC win against KC.
I'll be staying up here. The game doesn't come out until midnight here in Thailand. But
he'll be watching.
I'll be watching. Let's see. All right, I think that has about cleared the chat.
Somebody asked also where we were. We're in Thailand.
We're in Thailand, yeah.
Yeah, about 2 hours south of Bangkok, is that right? In the Gulf of Thailand.
Yeah.
So the beach is outside the door.
That's right. Or cheer for neither. Go Bees. The Bruins. No.
Oh, no. Let's not end it on a bad note.
Let's not end it on that. Let's go Red Wings. Okay, yeah. Do you plan on trying Brightline in the future? Yes, we are planning on it.
Most certainly we will be. Because if you guys didn't know, we travel to Florida often because we do a lot of cruises. And so we cruise quite a bit out of Florida, although we have been cruising a lot out of New York also, but we do cruise a lot out of Florida, and a lot of times we'll end up taking the train across the country and down so we can get to Florida on the trains to hop on cruise ships.
Yeah, I don't think the Boston fans have anything to complain about. They're saying, don't know the Boston fans. They win. They win every year, so they're probably just perpetually happy.
We don't want to upset any Boston fans.
They're-
By the way, we did love Boston. We
Yeah.
love being in Boston.
We went
Actually,
to
one of our favorite
Fenway.
conductors is in Boston, Maurice. He's not
Yeah.
on here today. He was on the chat last week. But if you guys are jumping on the Northeast Regional and you get Maurice, tell him that Robin Alley said hi.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, we're gonna end it there because it's bedtime. It's after.
That's it. This is past my bedtime, you guys. It is after 11 p.m. here in Thailand. We're 13 hours ahead of the East Coast in the U.S. And so we just want to thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate you. I know a lot of you are joining from different places, even somebody from Hawaii, which is incredible. Thank you guys so much. And will we see them next week?
I think so.
We'll see you guys next week. So come back with more questions and we'll see you next time.
All right. Good night.
Good night.